Open your book to page 23. Today's lesson is on how to divide a line segment. Let's go ahead and do the divide into two. So if you have a segment, a line segment, and this is point 1, this is point 2. So this is your x1, y1, and this is your x2, y2. And if you're going to find the midpoint, which means divide this into 2. So midpoint is right over here. And we can call this M or P, doesn't matter. Since this is halfway in between, means this is the average of the two. So to find the coordinate of this, all you have to do is just average the two. So this would be, the x would be x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And the y would be y1 plus y2 over 2. So to find the midpoint, or to divide the segment into two equal parts, is very easy. You just go ahead and average the 2 points, and that's it. Now, you also can divide the line segment into any portion of it. Okay, and that's the equation on the bottom of the page, the equation 1.5. So you have x equal to x1 plus r times x2 minus x1. And for the y, you get y1 plus r times y2 minus y1. Okay. So these are the formula for that. Now, the r is a ratio, is what fraction of the line segment you want to place that point. And so instead of trying to memorize the equation by rote memory, it's better to go and understand the equation. So let's say if you have a segment right over here, and you want to divide this into 3. So you want to get 1/3 point. So let's call this A, call this B, and call this P. Okay. So this point is x1, y1, and that's your x2, y2. So let's say you want to find a point P that is 1/3 of the whole thing. So that means r equal to 1/3. Okay. So what this means is that x2 minus x1, so if you were to draw this picture over here, this whole thing right over here, that's your x2 minus x1. So what happens is first you get the length of these. So that's what this is. x2 minus x1, that is this over here, right? So x2 minus x1. So first you find out what this is. Then you times by r. So 1/3. So because you want 1/3 of that. So this part over here, that is the r times x2 minus x1. Okay, so that's what this is. And then, so that this coordinate would be, for the x coordinate, would be x1 plus r times x2 minus x1. Because x1 is your starting point, and you add this length, and therefore you get that. Okay, and you can do the same thing for y. Right? To find the y coordinate, so you can first, you get the whole length over here. This whole length is y2 minus y1. Right? So y2 minus y1 give you the whole height. But you don't want a whole height, you want just this part over here. So you have to times by the fraction that you want. Again, this is 1/3 of the weight, right? So r is 1/3. So this is 1/3 of that. So this would be, so this part right over here, this is 1/3 of the r times y2 minus y1. Okay, so again, y2 minus y1 is a whole length. you times by the fraction that you want. That's what the R is, right? The fraction that you want. And then, so this point, you need to use the y. Here's your y2. So y2 plus this length will give you the y2 plus, well, will give you the, this is y1. Like that. So this point is y1. So y1 plus the length will give you y1 plus r times y2 minus y1. Okay, and that's where this equation came from. So once you understand, instead of memorize the equation, you can just work it out, right? You can first use the x2. So use the x2 minus the x1 to get this length. You times by the fraction that you want to get this length, and you use your starting point, the x1 plus the length, to get that coordinate. Okay? So once you understand this concept, then these equations are very easy to remember. Actually, you don't even have to memorize it. You can just work it out. Okay, so let's go and do an example. Let's go and do number 29. So let's go to page 28, number 29. Okay, it says a line passing through point A and point B. So again, what you want to do with all the points is you want to sketch it out. Now for this case, you don't have to draw a slanted line if you don't want to. Okay, you can just draw a straight line. It's perfectly fine. So if you just put, and you don't even have to put in scale. So you can go A over here, and point B over here. So A is -2, -1, and B, I'm going to put up here. So B is 3, 4, and A is -2, -1. Okay. Okay, now, and you have to read the next part carefully. Okay, it says from P, the point P, on the, notice the arrow, it says AB, right? Means you're going this direction. Notice it's AB, right? See the arrow? The very tiny arrow. That means you're going this way. Okay, and it says extended through through B. So you want to extend through B. It means you're going this way. So that P is 3 times as far as A as from B. So this is going to be 3 times. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. So you can kind of do that. Okay, so here will be P. So again, the P is 3 times, right? I can just think of that segment. Make this a unit. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. So P is 3 unit away from A. 3 times as far from A as from B. Okay, so again, you don't have to be exact. Okay, so this is 3 times as far as from B. Okay, so actually, if you want to be more exact, you can put P over here. Okay, but again, you don't have to be that exact. Okay, it just gives you an idea of where. So this is going to be 3. Again, the way to do it. So this is going to be 3 times. So P is 3 times from A as from B. So that's what you need to do. You have to write down those ratios. Okay. So again, now to work it out, in this case, the ratio is going to be. So this would be a 2, right? So in this case, actually the ratio is going to be 3. So in this case, R equal to 3 over 2. Okay, so it's from here to here versus this over here. So R is going to be the AP to the whole thing. Okay, so in this case, R equal to 3 over 2. So you have to be careful with that. Okay, so. Again, if you work these things out, right? So A is -2, 1, -1. Okay, B is 3, 4. So if you just do the x, so what you want to do, you want to do the x and the y individually. So if you just do the x, so focus on the x. So for x, right, so this would be a 5, right? So 3 minus -2 is 5, okay? And notice that, so that, again, if you look over here, this is 2, this is 1, so this would be 2.5, and this would be 7.5. So that means if you start with -2, right, start with -2, you add 7.5, you're going to get 5.5. So you get x of 5.5 over here. Now when you're doing the y, you just do the same thing, okay? So when you're doing the y, focus on the y. So from here, so from -1 to 4 is 5. Again, this is the length 5. And again, look over here, you have to figure out your ratio, right? So this would be 2.5. Again, this is a 7.5. So this is the length. Now for the y, you start with a -1, right? That's your starting point, and you go to a length of 7.5, so you end up at the coordinate of 6.5. So your coordinate would be 6.5. And that's it for that. Okay.